Hello and welcome to Keevin's Corner, the only show on the internet where you can see me talking about movies that you might like. This week's topic, the X-Men movies and the X-Men franchise. Alright, so first off, there's gonna be spoilers. There's nothing we can do about that. It's a review of the movies in chronological order, from X-Men 1 all the way through to Days of Future Past, which is the most recent one as of this recording. So there's gonna be spoilers. If you haven't seen the movies and you think you might like them, I would say don't watch this. Or if you've seen some of them and you might want to watch other ones, only watch the part of the review for the movies you've seen. Like I said, it's in chronological order that they came out, so whatever. So first off, the first X-Men movie. It's just called X-Men. It starts with Magneto at a concentration camp. His parents get taken away. He's like, no! And then he, bends a thing, like a gate, and then later he's Ian McKellen. It jumps to Rogue, at her house, and then she's talking with her boyfriend about how they're gonna go on an adventure, and then he almost dies. And then meanwhile, in Canada, it's Rogue in, a bar. She finds Wolverine getting beat up a bunch, and then they're best friends. The X-Men, the first one, it's got a lot of good moments, and overall the writing is solid. However, Halle Berry as Storm, awful. Halle Berry's accent, supposed to be African, awful. Some nitpicking moments for the first X-Men movie. Why is it so serious? X-Men generally is kind of a serious comic, because it's just it's the new people of the evolutions, and everything sucks because people hate them because they're weird. Have some levity. Probably my favorite line in the movie is when Wolverine stabs Mystique, and he runs up to Cyclops and he's like, hey, I got her. And he's like, how do you know? And Wolverine's like, you're a dick. One thing I don't get about the original X-Men movie is Magneto makes this machine that, for some reason, is completely dependent on his powers, but why would he develop a technology that would do this that almost kills him every time he uses the device? Also, why would he kidnap Rogue to transfer his powers to her? Why not just make a device that's not completely dependent on his powers, throw Wolverine in there, he can survive anything. It's just part of the plot, I don't care. Moving right along to X-Men 2, which is far superior a movie than X-Men 1. Wolverine is very much the main character in the second one, as opposed to kinda sorta Rogue was the main character in the first one. Story in X2 is completely dependent on Wolverine. Rogue kind of falls into the background. It's just sort of, hey, Rogue and Iceman are dating now, and they can't touch because Rogue will kill him. That's all they got. Overall, X2 is a fantastic movie. Surprisingly not the best movie in the franchise, though. For a long time it was, but Days of Future Past was fantastic. X2, there's not really anything that I can say about it that's really awful. They made some changes from the source material, but that's gonna happen. X2, very good movie. X-Men 3. Complete shit. Just nothing. They built up this, and then it just tanked with X-Men 3. 1. They killed Cyclops. Awful. They don't show it on the screen, but he's dead, as far as we know. Okay. Whatever. Let's do the good things for X3 first. Little Warren Worthington III, who is Angel, is in the bathroom and he's like cutting off his wings and he's like scraping them off. That's a very effective scene. It's actually a very good scene from Brett Ratner, which I never thought I would say. That was good. Kelsey Grammer as Beast was like perfect casting. That's all I got. Those are the only good parts of this movie. They killed off Professor X. They killed off Jean Grey at the end. And Storm was the leader of the X-Men. Oh, one more thing about X2. The horrible accent that Halle Berry already had going in the first one, she just abandoned it in the second and third movies. It's just gone. It's like, what? Wolverine was way too happy-go-lucky in this movie. It was weird. Why did Magneto have to levitate the Golden Gate Bridge to get to Alcatraz? You couldn't have found a better way of transporting your troops? He controls metal. Just get a giant piece of metal and float it across the thing. With the current setup, in effect, that cost $35 million apparently, an eighth of the film's budget, he lifts up the Golden Gate Bridge and places it this much on Alcatraz Island, and the rest just floating above the water. Not on, above. Meaning, during the battle of the century, for the cure or whatever, Magneto has to concentrate on keeping a giant bridge levitated before it crashes down and the rest of his people die. What? Beyond stupid. That's just insane. Also, during the final battle, Phoenix, who is Jean Grey, she's the Phoenix. Magneto, essentially sacrificed his best friend to gain control of this woman. Professor X got disintegrated so that Magneto could take her and use her to stop the cure. She does literally nothing in the final battle until Magneto gets stabbed with the cure thing by Beast and he turns all normal. What was the point of Magneto kidnapping Phoenix if he then was not going to use her at all in the final battle? In chess, the pawns go first. And it's like, okay, I get that. You send them in, but then you send in your big guns. You don't just have them stand idly by on a bridge while you get your ass kicked. That was dumb. Whatever. This movie sucks. Like, a lot. However, it's not worse than our next movie.